Welcome to today's transformation dive here on Earn Flow Zone. Get ready to talk about something a little uncomfortable, maybe even something you've been actively avoiding. If you're watching this, chances are you felt that familiar twinge when a bank notification pops up, or the sheer reluctance to check your account balance. It's a feeling that can make you instantly swipe away, close the app, and pretend the numbers aren't there. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a subtle, insidious form of avoidance that holds a surprising amount of power over your financial life. For years, I felt this exact dread. I'd see friends and colleagues who seemed effortlessly on top of their finances, saving for houses, paying off debt, discussing investments without a hint of panic. And I'd wonder what magic potion they were drinking. I'd tell myself they just earned more, or were naturally better with money, or had some secret I didn't. The truth is, there was no secret potion, no magic trick. There was just a willingness to face the numbers, to understand the flow, and to take deliberate action. That shift from passive dread to active engagement is what Earn Flow Zone is all about. It's about ditching the excuses, understanding the why behind your money habits, and building systems that work for you, not against you. We tackle everything from budgeting basics and debt payoff strategies to mindset shifts and income growth, all designed to help you build a solid financial foundation and unlock your full earning potential. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building sustainable wealth and peace of mind, brick by brick, habit by habit. If you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling empowered by your money, if you're into real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think and ensures you don't miss out on future transformation dives like this one. We're building a community here of people committed to financial growth, supporting each other on this journey. Drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win so far. Big or small, let's celebrate the progress. We're about to confront that feeling, understand where it comes from, and learn how to flip the script. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Okay, so you know the feeling we just talked about? It hits you like a cold splash when you see a notification from your bank account, or when you force yourself, teeth clenched, to open that banking app. It's that instant knot in your stomach, that quick surge of anxiety that makes you want to physically recoil. It's the reason you swipe away the notification without reading it. It's the reason you close the app faster than a celebrity avoiding paparazzi. You've been avoiding your money, haven't you? This isn't an accusation. It's a shared experience for far more people than you might realize. This avoidance usually stems from a deep-seated fear or discomfort tied to your financial reality. Maybe it's because you genuinely feel like there's never enough money coming in to cover what's going out, or that whatever you earn just seems to vanish into thin air, leaving no trace. Perhaps you're staring down debt that feels less like a manageable challenge and more like an insurmountable mountain range, looming over every financial decision. Or, in a surprisingly common scenario, maybe you just have absolutely no idea where your money actually goes each month, and the thought of tracking it feels like trying to herd cats while blindfolded. In these moments of dread, you likely tell yourself stories. Things like, "I'm just naturally bad with money," as if it's some genetic defect you can't change. Or, "I don't earn enough for any of this to even matter," a classic excuse to avoid taking action regardless of income level. Or perhaps, "Budgeting is too complicated, it's too boring," or "it's too restrictive," telling yourself that managing your money will somehow suffocate all the joy out of life. This pervasive feeling of powerlessness, this passive approach where money seems to simply happen to you, like bad weather you can't control, That's the core of what we call the money dread loop, and it is incredibly effective at keeping you stuck exactly where you are, or worse, pushing you further into financial distress. It's like avoiding going to the gym because you feel out of shape. The avoidance guarantees you stay out of shape, reinforcing the initial reason for avoiding it. You see other people, friends, colleagues, influencers online, who seem to have their financial lives together. They're talking about down payments, investment portfolios, travel funds, all without that look of sheer panic in their eyes. They seem relaxed about bills, excited about saving. You tell yourself they must earn significantly more, or got lucky with an inheritance or a stock pick, or they just get it in a way you simply don't. Here's a crucial myth bust. This isn't primarily about how much money you have right now. Whether you're scraping by paycheck to paycheck, feeling comfortable but not actually building significant wealth, or even earning a decent income but still feeling stressed and anxious about bills, the dread comes from feeling out of control. The big lie society often sells us, and one we internalize, is that financial control is a destination you finally arrive at after you have a lot of money, or that it's some kind of magic trick only possessed by a select few financial gurus. The surprising truth? Control is not the destination. It is the path to financial progress. And that path starts with a single, conscious decision, regardless of your current income level, your debt situation, or your past mistakes. You aren't a helpless victim of your bank balance or your debt load, despite how it might feel in the moment. You are simply operating without a strategy, allowing your money to run the show instead of you running your money. This entire journey we're starting today is about flipping that dynamic, about moving from dread and avoidance to empowerment and action. Ask yourself, what's the one number you are most afraid to look at right now? Facing that number, even if it's just opening the app, is your first step out of the dread loop. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Now, think about any successful operation you know, a thriving business, a smoothly run project, even a household that just seems to work. What's the secret sauce? Leadership, a plan. Someone or a team is clearly in charge, making intentional decisions, not just reacting to whatever pops up. Right now, honestly, when it comes to your money, who's the boss? If it feels like your impulse buys are calling the shots, or unexpected bills completely derail your life and dictate your mood, or maybe debt feels like it's making all the major decisions for you, and guess what? You've essentially walked out of the corner office. You've abdicated the throne of your own financial kingdom. It's time to step back into that office, grab the big chair, and become the CEO of your financial life. Imagine your personal finances are like you, Inc., your own personal corporation. Every penny earned is revenue. Every dollar spent is an expense. Every debt is a liability. And every saving or investment is an asset. A real CEO doesn't ignore the company's accounts. They dive into them. They don't bury their head in the sand about mounting debt, hoping it disappears. They certainly don't just hope revenue magically appears. Instead, they face the numbers head-on, make strategic, sometimes tough, choices, and actively guide the company toward its goals and vision. This isn't just some dry corporate jargon we're throwing around, it's a powerful mental reframe. You are not just a consumer earning a wage or a passive earner simply paying bills. You are the executive decision maker for your entire financial ecosystem, holding the ultimate power to direct its future. It's like playing a strategy game, and you suddenly realize you've been playing on autopilot, letting random events control your moves. Here's a surprising insight that trips up so many people. You already possess the innate capability, the intelligence, the perspective to make these critical financial decisions for yourself. You absolutely do. The challenge isn't a lack of ability, it's that you haven't been activating it. You've been letting deeply ingrained habits, underlying fears about scarcity or failure, and often external pressures from marketing or peers make the calls on your behalf. It's like having a supercomputer on your desk, but only using it as a paperweight. Most people, surprisingly, run their personal finances exactly like a small, chaotic startup. Resources, paychecks come in, but they just disappear as fast as they arrive on random projects. Those impulse buys. Forgotten subscriptions, convenience spending, social pressure buys, all without any clear objective or oversight. There are no budget meetings, no performance reviews of where the money went, no strategic planning for growth. It's just financial chaos. Focus almost exclusively on getting more funding, a bigger income, without ever getting a grip on the operations, spending, saving, managing debt. The personal action needed right now, the absolutely vital first step in claiming your CEO status, is incredibly simple but profoundly powerful. Declare yourself the CEO. Seriously. Right now, if you can, say it out loud. I am the CEO of my money. This isn't just a silly phrase. It's an active claiming of responsibility and control. It shifts your perspective from being a passenger on a runaway train to being the conductor who can grab the brake and start steering. It acknowledges that the power was already yours. You just needed to step up and wield it. Try this for a week. Before any significant financial decision, pause and ask yourself, if I were the CEO of You Inc., would this be a strategic move for the company? Does this align with our long-term goals? Or ask yourself, what's stopping you from looking at your bank balance and bills with the same focus a business owner looks at their financials? This one mindset shift, moving from passive recipient to active executive, has the power to change everything about how you interact with your money. It's time for a fundamental change in leadership, and that leader is you. Okay, let's build out section 3 of the script based on the provided structure. Script starts here, following implicitly after section 2. All right, so you've decided to step into the power seat, taking control as the CEO of You Inc. You're ready to stop being a passenger on the financial roller coaster and start driving. But before we even think about spreadsheets, budgets, or investment apps, there's a more fundamental strategic decision to make. This is section 3. The CEO needs a vision. Because here's the thing. The very first strategic decision for You Inc. isn't about how to manage your money. It's about getting crystal clear on why you're managing it at all. Money isn't the end game. It's not the finish line itself. Money is the fuel, the building materials, the resources you gather to fund your actual life vision. What does your company, your life, truly want to achieve? What are its long-term goals, its mission statement? Think about it. Are you accumulating resources to fund freedom from soul-crushing debt? Is your mission to build the security blanket of a fully funded emergency fund? Perhaps You Inc. Vision involves experiencing the world through travel, launching a passion project into a thriving business, finally buying a home, ensuring a comfortable retirement, giving your kids a head start with college funding, or simply reclaiming your most valuable asset, time. Get laser-focused on what you want your money to do for you. Without this vision, this North Star, you're essentially just wandering. Your spending becomes purely reactive, a series of responses to whatever glossy advertisement or fleeting desire pops up. But with a clear, compelling vision, every financial decision transforms from a passive reaction into an active, strategic step towards a tangible future you are consciously, deliberately building. It gives your money a job, a purpose beyond just existing in your bank account. Let's make this relatable. You scroll online or walk past a store and see an advertisement for a fancy new gadget. Maybe it's a new phone, a gaming console, or some must-have smart home tech. As a passive consumer, your immediate thought is often, "Wow, I want that. I deserve that." It's an emotional impulse. But as the CEO of You Inc., operating with a clear vision, say the vision of having a substantial down payment for a house in 5 years, or maybe even just boosting your early retirement fund, you approach that shiny object differently. You pause. You ask the CEO question: does spending $800 or $50 or even $20 on this gadget move You Inc. closer to that down payment goal? Or does it actively pull funds away from building that future? The surprising insight here, the real game changer, is that clarifying your life goals is the single most powerful budgeting and saving tool you possess. Forget complex spreadsheets for a moment. Your deepest desires are the ultimate financial compass. Why? Because a clear vision gives your money meaning. It elevates it from a simple number to a potent resource pool dedicated to manifesting your reality. It makes saying no to impulse buys easy, not because you're depriving yourself, but because you're saying a resounding yes to something much bigger, much more valuable. This isn't about deprivation. It's about intelligent allocation based on your highest priorities. This is the shift from managing scarcity to funding possibility. So here's the personal action to take today. Don't overthink it. Grab a piece of paper, open a note on your phone, or use a document on your computer. I want you to write down 3 to 5 financial goals that genuinely excite you. Things that make you lean forward when you think about them. What does a successful financial future look like for You Inc.? Put it into words. Let that vision begin to guide you. Okay, you've tackled the big picture. You've set your goals. You're starting to understand the value of having a financial game plan. But how does a CEO, someone who's building a massive company, know if they're actually making money? How do they know where every single resource is going, or what departments need a serious adjustment? They don't just guess. They don't just hope it's working out. They look at the data. Financial reports aren't just a formality for successful businesses. They are the absolute backbone, non-negotiable. And for your personal finances, the equivalent of that mission-critical CEO dashboard. It's tracking every single dollar coming in, and perhaps more importantly right now, every single dollar going out. This is where the rubber truly meets the road in personal finance. And let's be honest, for many, it's the most avoidant step. Why? Because it can feel painful. It can expose habits you'd much rather keep hidden away in the dark corners of your financial life. It's like finally stepping on the scale after avoiding it for months. You know you might not like the number, but ignoring it doesn't make it go away. But here's the tough, non-negotiable truth. A principle that holds just as much power in your bank account as it does in a Fortune 500 company. You absolutely cannot manage what you do not measure. Period. Tracking isn't about judgment, it's about revelation. It reveals the unvarnished truth of your spending habits, replacing vague assumptions and wishful thinking with cold, hard data. It shows you exactly where your revenue, your income, is truly going. And it's not just about the big bills, like rent or your car payment. That stuff is usually pretty obvious. The real eye-opener, the place where financial growth often gets quietly sabotaged, is in the cumulative effect of small, unconscious spending. Think about this common scenario. Maybe you've lived it yourself. You think you only eat out a few times a week. Maybe you grab a quick sandwich during a busy workday, or treat yourself to dinner on Friday. Seems harmless enough, right? But then you start tracking. You meticulously record every transaction, and suddenly the dashboard lights up with surprising data points. It turns out it's not just a few times a week. It's the daily $5 latte on the way to work, plus the bagel. It's the impulsive $15 delivery lunch because you didn't pack anything. It's the mid-afternoon snack run that somehow costs $7. It's the weekend takeaway that adds up to $40. Suddenly, that few times a week has ballooned into hundreds of dollars a month, an amount you could have sworn was much less when you were just guessing. It's like trying to bake a cake by just eyeballing the flour and sugar. You might get something edible, but it's probably not going to be the masterpiece you envisioned. Your mental estimate of where your money goes? It is likely wildly inaccurate. We have this funny tendency to overestimate our mindful, planned spending and drastically underestimate our convenience, impulse, or small drip spending. This surprising insight that your gut feeling about your money is probably wrong is exactly why tracking is so crucial. It's the reality check your personal finance dashboard desperately needs. So here is the essential, non-negotiable action step for this stage. For the next 3 days, I want you to track every single dollar you spend. I mean, every dollar. The coffee, the bus fare, the pack of gum, the online purchase, the dinner out. No exceptions. Don't judge it while you're doing it. Don't try to fix anything yet. That comes later. Right now, your only job is to be the objective financial data collector. You can use a dedicated budgeting app on your phone, a simple spreadsheet on your computer, or even just a small notebook and pen you keep in your pocket. The tool doesn't matter. The act of recording does. This is simply gathering the raw data for the CEO's dashboard. This foundational step is where the real understanding begins, and it's the only way you can start making informed, data-driven decisions about where your money is truly going. Now that you have the raw intelligence from your financial dashboard, the clear picture of where your money actually went last month, it's time for the CEO to step up and make a strategic plan. This is where you move from tracking to directing. This is Section 5. Allocate your resources, the budget. Forget everything you thought you knew about budgeting being a financial straitjacket. Seriously, throw that old notion out the window. A budget isn't about deprivation. It's about absolute intentionality. It's the process of giving every single incoming dollar a specific job before it even hits your bank account. Think of yourself as the air traffic controller for your money. Every plane, dollar, has a designated landing strip, category, and a mission. Nothing is just circling aimlessly in the sky, hoping to find somewhere to land. This isn't about stopping spending. It's about consciously deciding where your resources go to fund your vision. Remember back in Section 3, when you clarified what you're working towards? Your budget is the tactical map to get there. Some of your money has to go towards essential operations, the non-negotiables like rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transport. These are the core functions keeping the business running. Other funds are allocated to addressing liabilities, like paying down debt, aggressively if that's part of your vision. But importantly, a significant chunk needs to be directed towards R&D and future growth. This is your savings, your investments, building that emergency fund we often talk about. And yes, even the best companies recognize the value of employee well-being. Your budget should absolutely include funds for fun, hobbies, and guilt-free spending. The key is you are the one deciding these allocations. You're not left scratching your head at the end of the month, wondering, where did it all go? Here's the relatable example from your journey. You looked at your tracking data from Section 4 and saw that eating out clocked in at $300 last month. You also know your financial vision includes building that emergency fund. So as the CEO of Earn Flow Zone, your life, you decide to strategically reallocate. Next month, you budget just $150 for eating out. Still plenty to enjoy some meals out or grab coffee with friends. The other $150? It gets a new job. Its mission is to contribute directly to your emergency fund line item. See the difference? This isn't cutting back because you can't afford it. It's redirecting resources because you choose to prioritize your long-term vision. You are in control. The surprising insight that budgeting reveals is that it is not a tool of restriction, but a powerful instrument of freedom and empowerment. When you've deliberately assigned a role to every dollar, covering your bills, paying debt, building savings, and even allocating funds for fun, you gain permission to spend the money allocated for specific categories guilt-free. You know everything else is being taken care of according to your plan. It removes the anxiety often associated with spending because it's a conscious, planned decision, not a spontaneous, potentially regretful one. The personal action step, based on your tracking data from Section 4, it's time to create a simple budget plan for the upcoming month. This doesn't need to be fancy spreadsheet software initially. Grab a notebook or a simple app. Look at your income and your tracked expenses. Now, assign roles to your upcoming income. Decide how much X goes to bills, how much Y goes to debt payments, how much Z goes into savings or investments, and how much W you are consciously allocating for guilt-free spending on things you enjoy. This one habit, consciously allocating before spending, changed everything for me, turning financial confusion into clarity and control. It's your first major strategic move as the CEO. All right, so you've been building that financial engine, maybe mapping out your route or getting a feel for the terrain. Now, it's time for a critical checkup, a vital step in optimizing your earn flow zone, finding the money leaks. Think of yourself as the CEO of your own financial life. What's one of the first things a smart CEO does? They pore over the budget. They review the tracking data, relentlessly searching for inefficiencies. Where are resources being wasted? Where are the leaks that drain profitability, quietly siphoning off precious capital? For your personal finances, these leaks are those expenses that simply don't align with your core values, your vision for the future, or the goals you're working towards. They bring little to no real value to your life, yet they eat away at your potential. This could be anything from subscriptions you signed up for with good intentions but never use, to convenience fees you could easily bypass with a little planning, to impulse purchases that give you a fleeting moment of dopamine before you forget you even bought them. Or maybe it's excessive spending in one non-essential area that starves another, more important goal, like saving for a down payment or investing for retirement. Identifying these silent drains is absolutely crucial for optimizing your financial flow and making sure every dollar you earn is working as hard as possible for you. Here's where the surprising insight comes in. People often waste significant amounts of money on things they don't even consciously value or remember buying. It's not always big, flashy purchases. It's the cumulative effect of these small, leaky pipes. You might have signed up for that free trial of a streaming service or a productivity app months ago, perhaps during a late-night browsing session, and completely forgot about it. Now, it's been quietly, relentlessly charging you $15 or $20 a month. That's potentially $180, $240 or more per year disappearing into the ether. It's like finding out you've been paying for a gym membership for a year and haven't gone once, except the monthly charge is the only workout happening. The reality is, life moves fast, and inertia is powerful. Recurring charges hide in statements. Small habits fly under the radar. But just like a CEO reviews the balance sheet, you need to audit your personal spending. Ready to turn the tide and reclaim those lost dollars? Here's a powerful action you can take right now. Try this for a week. Dedicate an hour to reviewing your last month's bank statement and credit card statements. Don't just skim them. Really look at every line item. Highlight any recurring charge you don't actively use or genuinely benefit from. Circle any purchase that you regret, barely remember buying, or know didn't align with your values in that moment. Be honest with yourself. Identify at least 2 leaks. These could be subscriptions, habits, or types of purchases that you can plug immediately by canceling, returning, or changing a habit. This one habit of regular financial review and leak plugging can change everything for your savings rate and overall financial health. Section 7. Strategic Spending Decisions. Now let's talk about truly strategic spending. Imagine you're the CEO of your financial life. EarnFlowZone Inc. A CEO doesn't just greenlight every single expense request that lands on their desk, right? Oh, Dave from accounting wants a gold-plated stapler? Sure, why not? No way. A smart CEO asks critical questions. Is this expense absolutely necessary? Does it provide genuine value back to the company? And most importantly, does it align with the company's overall strategic direction and long-term goals? You need to apply that exact same rigorous filter to every single dollar that leaves your personal bank account. Every purchase, big or small, is a decision point. Is this $5 coffee, this $10 gadget, this $150 impulse buy a strategic investment in your well-being, your future, your vision for the life you're building? Or, and let's be brutally honest here, is it a reactionary, passive expenditure driven by sheer habit, relentless advertising, boredom, or that immediate, fleeting hit of gratification that actually pulls you away from your financial goals? This isn't about embracing a life of deprivation, constantly saying no to everything that brings you joy or convenience. Absolutely not. This is about reclaiming your power and saying yes only to the things that genuinely matter, the purchases that actively support the life you want to live and the future you want to build. Think about the classic scenario. You see a pair of incredibly trendy shoes online or in a store. The passive you, the one running on autopilot, instantly thinks, "Wow, I love those. They're on sale. I have the money in my account right now. I should totally buy them." But the CEO pauses. The CEO takes a breath and asks the strategic questions. Do I need these shoes? Do I have a specific purpose or gap in my wardrobe they'll fill? Or do I already have 5 pairs just like them? More importantly, is this $150 purchase truly more valuable to my financial vision? Maybe paying down high-interest credit card debt, building that emergency fund, or saving aggressively for that dream trip, then keeping or allocating that money elsewhere. Here's the surprising, maybe even slightly uncomfortable truth that most people never consciously acknowledge. The vast majority of consumer spending isn't driven by a conscious, rational, strategic choice aligned with long-term goals. It's driven by emotion, I deserve this, by ingrained habit, it's Tuesday, time for my usual expensive lunch, or by external cues, that influencer has them, so I need them. It's like being a ship tossed around by waves instead of a captain steering towards a destination. And during that 60-second pause, ask yourself clearly and honestly, does this purchase truly align with my financial vision and values? Is this the best use of this dollar right now? It's a simple question, but giving yourself that minute to interrupt the impulse, to engage the CEO brain instead of the passive brain, can make all the difference. Try this for a week. You'll be amazed at how many purchases suddenly lose their urgency when filtered through your strategic goals. Okay, so you're starting to build your income. You're identifying places where money disappears. Fantastic progress. But there's one giant elephant in the room, a silent killer of wealth potential that many people unconsciously avoid: high-interest debt. Think about any successful company you admire. Do they just ignore their loans and outstanding bills? Absolutely not. They manage liabilities aggressively. They understand that debt, especially expensive debt, is a direct attack on their future growth and profitability. You are the CEO of your personal finances, and liabilities need the same strategic attention. High-interest debt, like credit cards, payday loans, or even some personal loans, isn't just a bill, it's a parasite. It latches onto your income and drains it before you even have a chance to allocate it towards your goals, your savings, or your investments. Imagine training for a marathon, but carrying a 50-pound backpack. You can move forward, but it's painstakingly slow, exhausting, and inefficient. That backpack? That's your high-interest debt, weighing you down. The true cost of debt isn't just the original amount borrowed. It's the mountain of interest payments that compound over time, effectively stealing future resources that could have been building your wealth. Tackling this requires a direct, strategic attack, not hoping it goes away or making the minimum payment while crossing your fingers. Let's look at a classic example, one that catches far too many people in its trap. You have a credit card balance of $3,000 at a not uncommon 20% annual interest rate. The minimum payment might look manageable, say $90 a month. Here's the surprising insight, the kind that makes you wince. A huge chunk of that $90 isn't even touching the principal balance. It's pure interest. Month after month, you pay, but the debt barely budges. At that rate, making only the minimum payment means it could take you well over 10 years and cost you thousands, literally thousands in extra interest to clear that $3,000 debt. That's money that evaporates, gone forever. Money you could have saved for a down payment, invested for retirement, or simply used for something you actually value, like a much-needed vacation or investing in a skill. This minimum payment habit is a myth bust about managing debt. It's actually the slowest, most expensive way to not pay it off. This reality check isn't meant to shame you, but to empower you. Seeing the cause-effect clearly, minimum payments cause massive interest accrual, which causes wealth erosion, is the first step. The personal action here is non-negotiable if you're serious about financial growth. You need to confront your liabilities head-on. Try this today. Make a list of all your non-mortgage debts: credit cards, car loans if the rate is high, personal loans, medical debt. Note the exact balance and the interest rate for each one. This act of bringing it into the light is powerful. Once you have that list, ask yourself, which strategy resonates more? The debt avalanche, where you attack the debt with the highest interest rate first to save the most money over time. Or the debt snowball, where you pay off the smallest balance first to build psychological momentum. This one decision, followed by consistent action, can change everything about your debt trajectory. Commit to one, and then direct any extra money you find from budgeting or plugging leaks towards aggressively paying down that chosen debt first. This isn't just paying off debt, it's reclaiming your financial future. Okay, let's shift gears. If managing your money is like playing defense, stopping the leaks, shoring up the foundations, then boosting your revenue is the offense. It's about scoring points, moving the ball down the field faster. Think of yourself, truly, as the CEO of You Inc. A great CEO doesn't just cut costs endlessly. They constantly look for ways to increase revenue. And this isn't just for entrepreneurs or high flyers. It applies to everyone. Whether you're just starting out and need some extra cash, a mid-career professional aiming for that promotion, or someone with big ambitions exploring new avenues, your ability to earn is arguably your most potent financial asset. It's a muscle you need to flex and train. For so many people, income feels like a fixed number, what their job pays. End of story. They focus intensely on budgeting their current income, but rarely put that same energy into growing it. This is a massive blind spot. Your income ceiling is often much higher than you think, and it's largely within your control to raise it. Have you ever stopped to consider that the skills you use at work, or even your hobbies, could be valuable to someone else? Maybe you're a wizard with spreadsheets, a fantastic writer, a design whiz, or incredibly organized. These aren't just traits, they're potential income streams waiting to be tapped. Or perhaps you haven't asked for a raise or promotion in years. Even though your responsibilities have grown, it's like leaving free money on the table. And let's not even talk about the mini museum of unused items collecting dust in garages and closets. Items that could easily fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars online. Here's the surprising insight, the habit that holds so many back. Most people drastically underestimate their own earning potential and passively accept their current income level as fate. They're like gamers playing with the starter character, never exploring the unlockable skills or power-ups. Taking proactive steps to increase revenue, even small, seemingly insignificant ones initially, can create a ripple effect that dramatically accelerates your financial goals. A little extra each month adds up fast, especially when you invest or save it wisely. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter and leveraging what you already have or can easily acquire. So if you're ready to put on your CEO hat and play offense, let's make it practical. Your personal action step for this section, something concrete to do in the next month, is simple. Identify one tangible step you can take that has the potential to increase your income. Don't overthink it. Just pick one. This could be researching average salaries for your current role to prepare for a negotiation. listing just one item you haven't touched in a year for sale online, or spending 30 minutes brainstorming a simple side gig based on a skill you already possess or a problem you see in your community. This one habit, moving from passive acceptance to active income exploration, changed everything for me. Now ask yourself, what's stopping you from taking that first step? Section 10. Title: Building Future Wealth. Okay, so you've got your financial foundation sorted. You're managing your cash flow like a pro. But where do we go from here? Think of yourself as the CEO of your own personal financial empire. What does a responsible CEO do with the company's profits? They don't just blow it all on fancy office furniture, though hey, maybe a nice chair later. They reinvest it back into the business for long-term growth, right? Building new factories, developing new products, expanding reach. Your personal finances work the same way. This is where you start putting your money to work for you, independently of your direct labor. We're talking about saving strategically and, eventually, investing. This is the stage where compounding becomes your absolute greatest ally. You hear about compounding interest, and sometimes it sounds complicated. But really, it's just earning money on your money, and then earning money on that money, and then earning money on all of it. It's like planting a seed, and that seed grows a tree, and that tree drops more seeds, and those seeds grow more trees, and suddenly you have a forest. Time is your most valuable asset in this forest-growing process. Seriously, the earlier you start, even with laughably small amounts, the more time compounding has to work its magic and allow your money to grow exponentially over the years. People often think they need a massive lump sum or some kind of secret Wall Street handshake to start investing. Myth busted. You don't need to be an expert or have a trust fund. The most important thing, the absolute non-negotiable first step, is simply to start and then make it a consistent habit. This consistency, combined with time, builds assets. Things you own that either generate income, like dividends, or grow in value, like stocks or real estate, without you having to trade hours for dollars. Let's bring it back to that relatable example. Imagine you decide to set up an automatic transfer. Maybe it's just $25 from your checking account to a separate savings account, or a simple investment account every payday. You barely notice it leaving. It's less than buying lunch out a couple of times. Here's the surprising insight, the part that really hits home. Over 20 or 30 years, even this small, consistent amount, especially when it's invested and earning returns, can grow into a shockingly significant sum. Often, it's far, far more than the total amount you ever actually contributed out of your pocket. That's the sheer brute force power of compounding at work. It makes time and unwavering consistency exponentially more important than the size of your initial contribution. It's the financial equivalent of slow and steady wins the race, but like winning the race in a rocket ship built by tiny squirrels over decades. Okay, maybe not the rocket ship, but you get the idea. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about getting wealthy sustainably. It's about building momentum, the personal action, the one concrete step you can take today or by your next payday is simple. Set up an automatic transfer of a small, comfortable amount. Seriously, start small if you need to. Just $10, $20, $25 from your main checking account to a separate savings account or a simple investment vehicle like a retirement fund, if available, or a low-cost index fund. Make it happen automatically on your next payday. Try this one habit, setting it and forgetting it, and watch the magic unfold over years. Section 11. The CEO Mindset. Welcome back to the Earn Flow Zone. We've talked strategy, we've talked systems, but let's get real. None of that matters if your internal operating system isn't aligned. Today, we're diving into something crucial, something often overlooked in the hustle for financial freedom: the CEO mindset. Think about running a successful company. Is it just crunching numbers and plotting market shares? Absolutely not. The true power comes from the top, the CEO's mindset. It's about leadership, leading yourself through challenging decisions. It's about discipline, sticking to the business plan even when things get tough. It's about resilience, bouncing back from setbacks, be it a failed product launch or a market downturn. And fundamentally, it's about an unwavering belief in the vision. Guess what? The exact same principles apply when you're being the CEO of your own money, your own financial future. Your beliefs about money aren't just passive thoughts. They are active forces shaping your reality. Your ability to delay gratification, that's executive-level discipline. Your discipline to stick to your financial plan, be it a budget or an investment strategy, that's operational excellence. Your resilience in the face of setbacks, an unexpected repair bill, a sudden drop in your investments, maybe even losing a job, that's crisis management, CEO style. Here's where things get tricky. Most people carry around financial baggage in the form of limiting beliefs, often without even realizing it. Phrases like, "I'm just not good with numbers," "Rich people are greedy," "Money is hard to earn," or "I'll never be wealthy," aren't just innocent thoughts. They are internal viruses actively working to sabotage your financial operating system. You could have the most perfectly optimized budget, the most brilliant investment portfolio, but if your core belief system is whispering that you'll always struggle, guess what? You likely will. These limiting beliefs will trip you up faster and more effectively than any external market condition or economic hiccup. It's like trying to drive a high-performance sports car with the brakes constantly engaged. As the CEO of your money, your primary job is to cultivate a mindset that supports your financial goals, not undermines them. It's about recognizing that true wealth isn't just a massive number in a bank account. Though that's nice, of course. It's also about peace of mind, a feeling of control, the freedom to make choices. It's about building a robust internal framework capable of handling both prosperity and adversity. Let's picture this relatable scenario. An unexpected bill lands on your desk. Maybe the car needs a costly repair, or the property tax is higher than you thought. The old, passive version of you, the one who felt like a passenger in their financial life, might feel instantly overwhelmed. You'd see that bill, throw your budget out the window, declare, "What's the point?" and maybe stress-eat your way through the evening. That's the employee mindset throwing in the towel. But the CEO version of you reacts differently. You acknowledge the setback. Okay, this is happening. You don't panic. You pull up your financial dashboard, your budget, your accounts. You calmly review the situation. Where can you strategically adjust? Maybe cut back on discretionary spending for a month, tap into a specific sinking fund, or slightly reallocate funds. You make a conscious decision and stay focused on the long-term vision. This one habit changed everything for me, shifting from reacting emotionally to responding strategically. Here's the surprising insight. The real myth bust. Your internal dialogue and deeply held beliefs about money and your own capability are profoundly shaping your financial reality. They have far more influence than almost any external factor you worry about. You can have the best tools, the best advice, but if you believe you're destined to struggle, you'll find a way to prove yourself right. So here is your personal action step, your executive order for this week. Identify one limiting belief you hold about money or your ability to manage it. Maybe it's something you heard growing up, or a conclusion you drew from a past financial mistake. Write it down. Stare it in the face. Write down an empowering counter-statement that aligns with the vision you have for yourself as the CEO of your money. For example, if your belief is money is scarce and hard to come by, the counter-statement could be, money is a tool I am learning to manage effectively and attract abundance. If you think, I can't save money, reframe it as, I choose to save X dollars per week because it builds my security and future freedom. This isn't just positive thinking. It's reprogramming your financial operating system. Do this simple exercise. It starts the process of building your financial fortress from the inside out. Okay. Let's dive into Section 12. You've made it this far, internalizing the fundamental truth we've explored throughout this journey. You are the CEO of your money, not a passenger hoping the driver knows where they're going, not a bystand watching events unfold on a screen, but the ultimate strategic commander of your financial destiny. We've charted the course, understanding your vision, the critical importance of gathering data, the deliberate act of allocating your resources, plugging those insidious financial leaks, making conscious, intentional choices rather than defaulting to autopilot. We've looked at managing liabilities that can drag you down, seeking avenues for authentic growth, building a robust foundation for the future, and perhaps most crucially, cultivating the right mindset. The CEO mindset that sees possibilities, not just problems. This entire process isn't about achieving some overnight impossible standard of financial perfection. Let's be honest, who's perfect? It's about authentic, consistent progress. It's about a fundamental shift from that heavy, suffocating dread and avoidance that so many people feel around money, to a powerful sense of confidence, control, and capability. Because here's the blunt truth, the cause-effect clarity. What happens if you acknowledge all this but don't act? You stay trapped in the money dread loop. Money will continue to feel like this elusive, frustrating force that simply happens to you, like bad weather. You'll earn it, and it will keep mysteriously disappearing. You'll remain stressed, perpetually reactive to financial surprises. And that gap between where you are today and where you truly want to be financially will not magically close itself. Year after year, the distance might even grow. Financial freedom, that often dreamed about peace of mind, it's not a passive state you accidentally stumble into while scrolling through Instagram. It is actively built, intentionally, one decision, one action after another. Here's the truly liberating, perhaps even surprising fact that busts a huge myth. The power to change this trajectory lies entirely with you. Yes, you, the CEO. It is literally in your hands right now. You do not need permission from anyone. You don't need a sudden windfall or a higher income bracket to start. And you definitely don't need a fancy financial advisor just to take your first step. While those things can be helpful later, they're not prerequisites for initiating change. You just need to issue your very first executive order. Action. This is where the rubber meets the road. Don't look at the whole mountain and feel overwhelmed. You don't need to implement every single strategy we've discussed all at once. That's like trying to clean your entire house in 5 minutes. Impossible and demoralizing. Instead, pick one thing. Revisit the potential actions we've touched upon, explicitly declaring yourself the CEO of your money, defining just one clear part of your financial vision, tracking every dollar you spend for just 3 days, creating a ridiculously simple initial budget, identifying just one financial leak you can plug, asking yourself that one strategic question about a spending habit, listing all your debts, just getting them down, identifying one tiny way to boost income, setting up just one small auto transfer to savings, or challenging just one limiting belief about money. Look at that list, or think about what resonates most from our previous discussions. Which single action feels most impactful for you right now? Or, maybe more realistically, which single action feels most achievable for you today? This isn't just checking a box. Choosing that one single action and then doing it is your personal declaration of financial independence. It's the definitive moment you stop letting money dictate your stress levels and start asserting your control over your money. This is the habit that changes everything. The habit of starting. Take that step. Open that note app on your phone, find that old notebook, log into your bank account to set that tiny auto transfer. Make that one phone call you've been dreading. Do it. Now. You are the CEO. It's time to act like it.